All right.
Hey Scott, the
Yes.
penis is bad. The gun is good.
That's the theory.
Yep.
Hey, this movie.
How about this? Your wardrobe is bad.
Oh, come on. My mom made this for me.
No, I mean just of that movie, not you.
Okay. Well, don't get caught up in looking at Sean Connery wearing a red diaper, because that's not what the film's about.
Also, the film isn't about much.
The film's about everything.
No, the film's about a lot.
The film has a lot. This is, in terms of a science fiction film, this is one of the more heavy science fiction films I can think of.
Sure, but
It explores a lot of themes.
It's wrapped in extreme bonkers, but there's a lot of ideas.
It's crazy as fuck.
One thing off the bat, though, it's also wrapped in pretty much a student production. So here we go.
Because
They didn't have much money.
because they spent all of their money on Connery.
No, you can't.
There's nothing left.
You need to qualify. You need to qualify that.
The set design in this movie is worse than like community theater, my friend.
Okay. The art direction's actually going in a direction with this. I think that they're trying to kind of show, this is the early 70s, right?
Yes.
It's kind of this agrarian, low-tech society there. That was built into like an Irish farmhouse thing, but that's they're kind of showing this. It's kind of
nothing in this movie was filmed more than 10 miles away from John Boorman's house.
That is
in Ireland.
That is absolutely true. But I thought it would actually.
But Kubrick did that
He went
too.
to his house and he just put beads up and was like, "Walk through the beads, dude. We're just gonna film that."
Is this, are we going to go on they criticizing the pre-digital effects now? Can we do that? Because that
No, I'm not criticizing
I'm
anything.
not.
I'm just
I
saying
like
that's
it.
the
Let's
reality
move
of the
on.
movie.
I have a great deal of affection for this.
The
movie.
head looks good. The head looks pretty damn good.
This movie is dumb as fucking balls, and I love every single second of it. I
There
love
you go.
every single second of it.
I actually don't think I don't think it was dumb at all. I actually thought
Oh,
it was
it's dumb as shit.
I don't know that it's a product of its time.
We're on the same wavelength on this one.
Mhm. Okay.
Did anybody else read Scott's Hang a Lantern on it? Outside of the fact that, oh wait, thanks Scott for giving me the credit of inspiring you to watch this.
Yeah, he did like 6 years ago.
But you're right. Like, there's a lot. This movie has a lot to say. It may not say it as effectively as it wanted to, but there is. It's not. You can't just sort of dismiss it at its face because it's ridiculous.
Because it's
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm not dismissing this at all. Like I honestly think it does do a good job of saying the things it's trying to say. I also think it's dumb as shit, and that's funny. That's funny. Like this movie works on two different levels for me. It works on the level of I think this is decent storytelling, and
Yes.
I think what they're saying is good and interesting, but also.
Sean Connery got in a fight with a Hall of Mirrors.
Right. I have an overarching thing of I'm gonna take my revolver and just shoot it into this Hall of Mirrors randomly, and that's funny as shit.
It's plain bonkers in a lot of ways.
No, I disagree.
Guys, come on.
Yeah, come on. It's
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that last sequence was my favorite sequence. But I disagree. I think that even though it has good ideas, just having good ideas is not enough. You have to fucking tell the audience your good ideas in a fucking good way. And this movie cannot do that.
That's an acceptable criticism. I will absolutely say that this movie is not great at communicating its ideas to the audience.
It does have great ideas. It cannot fucking translate those.
Yeah. I think you're right about that.
How do you think it fails that?
In every rung of the ladder.
Don't enumerate. Elaborate.
It was the good idea tree. It fell off the branch and hit every fucking branch on the way down.
Okay, that's still not an explanation.
First of all, it's both too obvious and too subtle at the same fucking time.
I'll give you that.
Also, I mean, the set design is so ludicrously horrible. And it's a lot of most of the movie is Sean Connery reacting to shit, like being like, oh.
However,
like it's just
so, Jared,
more committed to their role, though.
Jared, I want to challenge you on that for 1 second, which I think that actually makes it somewhat better. I think his reactions to things.
Made this movie.
I think his reactions to things actually are the thing that's trying to drive that towards the audience. Like, I think it is one of those things where when he's standing behind them and they've all decided to get that guy out, and he's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, I think that works.
He's our eyes and ears in the vortex.
It seems like it has good ideas, but it's the throw at sort of this hippie fucking milieu.
It was made in '72, dude.
Yeah, it was made. It's the zeitgeist.
Also, there's. Actually,
I'm here to tell you that zeitgeist doesn't have staying power, and it's fucking.
Yeah, it's like saying, "Oh, you know."
Now I'm going to back up. I'm going to back up Jared. I'm going to back up Jared in one aspect. In that there's a part in the middle.
It's wrong to attack it for being dated just because it's dated.
Yeah, there's no point in saying it's old film because it's an old film. But I think
it's like saying The Great Dictator. God, it's so old-fashioned.
Let me just enumerate. I think what Jared's trying to say is like once we get.
I don't think Jared's trying to say anything except he didn't like
Once Zed gets inside of Vortex 4, and they kind of like he's here, we're gonna get rid of him in a couple of days, and then they kind of what are we gonna do with him? Then it becomes this long exposition where friends driving around and explaining how everything's working. These are the apathetics, and these are the what are they called? The old dudes.
Oh.
Yeah,
the renegades.
The renegades, yeah. And so he's kind of explaining how this society how it's breaking down. Then you wouldn't in a newer film you wouldn't see that kind of exposition, you know.
Oh, they do title crawl
or something like that.
Also, Jim, Charlie Chaplin never would have The Great Dictator doesn't age because it never would have done this. Like
it has aged. Have you watched it?
Oh, I have recently. Yeah,
it's aged worse than Zardoz.
No fucking way.
No, it's a great movie, but it's still aged.
You
should be able to like enjoy something of itself, and part of that of itself is of its time.
But this is not the kind of movie that I think you can enjoy in and of itself. I think this is.
I've enjoyed this movie since I first saw it. Before
I saw it when I was 12, and I was blown away.
I saw it when I was 8.
I feel like this is like a narcissistic passion project that is like really self-indulgent.
Hold on. I mean, again, let's go back to. I'm going back into.
I give it to you. It's not funny games.
No, I'm going back to Jared's corner again. Says one thing about this is John Boorman's.
Funny Games is a good film.
This is his.
No, Funny Games is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Stop.
Take it to Temecula.
Okay, this is John Boorman's libido just going into overdrive. This film, don't you think?
Well, yes. There's a lot of.
Charlotte.
I'm trying to have sexy women in my movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that in that film. Yeah, that's
also, but again, to go back to what Jared's saying, like this is shitty. Like this is a shitty like
The Wizard of Oz. Give me a fucking break, dude.
Which it could be.
It's
it could be really
shaggy dog story.
No, but it could be really funny. Like you could do this in a really funny or interesting way. I just don't think the movie
seriously, and it's so bad.
I don't think the movie does that.
With Jonathan Frayne, I think the game of character was.
Yeah.
This is something
guy behind John.
This is something established that he would do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
sure.
Yeah, and so it's like it didn't surprise me.
It's I think Tad's right that it's not a great reveal and it's not a great oh my god moment that it wanted to be, because it's like who cares? It's like, okay, you got the name from Wizard of Oz,
right?
Oh, and you saw it as a kid though.
It's like people believe in God too, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's an old book and people believe in it.
There's a lot of Wizard of Oz inspired movies that don't have to go back and actually reference the book.
But I believe in this. I believe in this a lot more. Like I believe in this scene, and her narrating what he's like and all that stuff, and then she goes to reach in and he grabs her arm.
Yeah, that was
like
good.
To me. That's a way more interesting thing than a lot of the other stuff in this movie. She's looking at him like he's an animal in a zoo.
Yeah. It's a lot like Planet of the Apes.
From the floating head, I can't even believe we're talking about this picture. From the floating head, and when he says the word penis, I was laughing so fucking hard.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
this, I can't even believe that we're
So did
discussing.
I when I saw it in the theater, but I was.
But that's also funny. That's a funny line.
It is.
It's not even worth talking about, dude.
Oh, it is totally worth talking about, Chad or Jared.
Yeah, and if we're all gonna laugh about it, maybe.
But there's more to it than that. I think
There's
you're
more
over
to it to that.
what the movie's trying to say.
Yeah, you seem very guarded about this in terms of like just rejecting it without actually talking about what
It's
film's
just
about.
fucking silliness.
Did this movie fuck you up the ass, Jared?
Show me where the movie touched you.
Yeah,
I
on
like
the
this.
doll.
I would put Zardoz in the pile of movies that directors made when they were told they could make whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah.
John Boorman made this. Cameron made The Abyss. I'm leaving a couple others off where it's like
Coppola's One from the Heart.
Coppola's One from the Heart. It's like,
That's pretty much
I'm
it.
going to do the thing I've been trying to make for 15, 20, 30, 40 years, whatever. And
What's
then
that called? There's like a
99 times out of 100, it's like, huh.
It's like
Right.
their directors.
This
Statement.
is the
It's a
worst
statement. It's a
one.
statement piece. Is basically it.
The guy that directed this and the guy that directed Deliverance are so clearly two very different individuals.
True.
There's nothing connecting the two in
Yeah.
terms of style or pacing or anything. But
I
I love this.
I don't agree with you on that. This
No?
movie is lurid. Like this movie is lurid in a specific way.
Oh, sure.
It's not lurid in the way that Deliverance is lurid, but it is definitely still a lurid picture. Like
yeah.
it
No argument there.
it revels in the sexuality of
It's
all
a
of the
You're referring to the
characters.
hard-on scene.
movie.
Like I said, this film's got a lot of sexuality in it. This is John
Yeah.
Boorman kind of like.
But don't
exploring
forget, this is when new wave science fiction and literature was happening. This is the
True.
70s, and science fiction had always been a very chaste, manly men going off into space and having adventure.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, sex was invented.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is
This
like
is why
this-
I mentioned the final program.
This is like Ursula Le Guin. This is like the
thinking
guy
of
that
Jim
stand on Zanzibar. Frank, was it not Frank Herbert, but the other guy? But some of the more sexuality and more.
Heinlein.
Runner,
Yeah, exactly. That kind of later, that mid '70s science fiction that was a little more.
I was thinking of Silverberg. This is like
Yeah, it is. It's like Silverberg.
Mhm.
a Robert Silverberg book.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is like it is lurid, and like that's not bad. That's not a bad thing. It's just it is a lurid picture. It is a thing that looks at these people sexually, and like that's, to me, that's actually kind of interesting. Like
That is like the core theme. Is this the immortals have lost their physicality?
Yeah.
Right.
Comes from the outside and he brings it back to them. He's like almost like a messiah.
But not just sexuality, death.
Yeah, there was bits of the Matrix in this.
Sex and death. Yes.
Yeah. And they do and they die. At the end, they just all die and they lay down and die. Like they just accept their deaths.
It's not that it's bad ideas, it's
Yeah.
horrible execution.
Also, this film.
Yeah,
feels
I
a lot
mean,
like-
you're not wrong, Jared. It's just like I can
I think it
rise above.
succeeds in spite of its execution.
Right, I can
I
rise
agree with
above that
Jim.
I disagree. I
execution.
Also, can I just
Oh,
say
we know you disagree.
that this looks fucking great.
Yes.
It does.
There's a lot of that said.
Also, it looks like something straight out of Heavy Metal magazine, which was also doing sexy.
At this time, yeah.
at
Well,
this-
that's just Jeffrey Unsworth. He did the shooting. He shot this.
But everything else looked like
that one-
Middle class at this point.
everything else looked like it was done in someone's bedroom who had a disco ball and some fucking
It-
shiny shit.
There's this wonderful stuff he does. Unsworth works with longer lenses and he mists up his scenes a bit. So you can see that mist in the inside of the Zardoz's head, right?
yeah.
You see that in a lot of scenes there. He tries to pull an inner glow out of his shots, and you'll see it in a lot of his stuff.
Mhm.
Not just hard lighting, but actually kind of get enough light in there, enough atmosphere to kind of make the scenes glow.
Yeah, give it some softness. Give it some-
Exactly. It's like
Well-
it's neat to watch him work. He was a gifted. He
So
didn't- he
I'll suggest that there was this period of time between 2001 and Star Wars,
Right.
and some of you old folks will remember this, where it seemed like
Mm.
I was constantly being taken to the movies to see a sci-fi movie that
Yeah.
was like aiming for the fences.
Uh-huh.
And they didn't always stick the landing, but there was a lot of ideas being thrown out there. And,
This
and
is-
as an 8 to 12-year-old, a lot of them would go over my head.